Oklahoma is enjoying a growing job market, but economists are cautioning against complacency. While a new economic forecast points to continued expansion, experts are voicing concerns about Oklahoma's educational standards and the state's heavy reliance on the energy industry for much of its economy. We have two reports.
Overall, the message from the annual Economic Outlook Conference, sponsored by the Oklahoma State University Spears School of Business, is positive. OSU economics professor Dan Rickman projects the state will add up to 30,000 new jobs next year, with strong gains in manufacturing, health services, and administration. Rickman says maintaining that growth will be the next challenge, and he's concerned that Oklahoma still faces a skills gap with too few college-educated workers to fill high-paying, high-tech jobs.
We should be focusing more on getting our K-12 people prepared for college. One of our problems is that many of them are coming out of K-12 and they're not ready for college. And so this leads to lower retention rates once they get to college. Many don't end up going to college that maybe could have otherwise.
Deidre Myers with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce says as the State Department of Education develops new educational standards, business and industry will demand a focus on skills required in Oklahoma's wealth-generating ecosystem.
Aerospace and defense, ag bio, energy, information and financial services, and transportation and distribution. We know that these are the 5 areas that create 70% of our GDP, 60% of our wages, and 50% of our employment. And so these occupations are very critical to our economy continuing to grow.
While many jobs will require students to be versed in the so-called STEM areas of science, technology, engineering, and math, Myers believes they should also be grounded in a more traditional liberal arts curriculum.
We need to understand that there are numerous ways that a student can learn how to think, and we need to be more thoughtful about communicating with students what they need to have to be a successful citizen.
Of greater concern to Oklahoma's economic future is oil's continuing decline. Crude oil prices are still higher than during the recession of 2008-2009, but have recently fallen on world markets. Rickman says if prices go much lower, Oklahoma could lose up to 1,000 energy-related jobs next year.
At the moment, they don't expect prices to go much further downwards, which would lead to somewhat of a decline in the energy sector, but not dramatic. But if energy prices go much further down from here, the loss in employment can be much greater.
Chad Wilkerson is an economist with the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. Wilkerson says there remains a great deal of uncertainty about where oil prices are ultimately headed.
What's happening in world oil prices now is somewhat similar to what happened in the early and mid-'80s, in that OPEC has decided to let prices be low and fall to some degree. I think what might be a bit different now is how long and how much power they have for that to happen for a long time.
Wilkerson doesn't see another oil bust on the scale of what happened in the 80s, but points out that Oklahoma has grown more dependent over the last 15 years on the energy industry.
So we diversified after the bust of the 1980s, but then we've largely undiversified since then. And there's really not a lot we can do about that. When oil prices are high or natural gas prices are high, and we have oil and natural gas, we're going to devote resources to those sectors.
That reliance on the energy industry and the consequences of falling oil prices will be most keenly felt in state government, where the loss of severance taxes on oil and gas production will affect the state budget.
Of course, any decline in income that's associated with the energy sector, that reduces tax revenue streams. So I would expect some slowing of tax streams this year along with the rest of the economy.
What's bad news for state government is good news for Oklahoma consumers. Bob Sands has more on that aspect of oil's decline.